Hey everyone, it is Monday, July 11th. The time is 5 after 5 p.m. and the temperature right now is around 29 degrees Celsius. And that was Wellesley subway station I was just in front of, as well as Dundas Street, which is just to the north of here. I'm currently walking south through this alleyway down to Wellesley Street. And for this one, I'm going to make my way down to College and then head over to University Avenue, and then from there I'll head south down into the financial district. And I think I'll probably finish around Union Station. And there's a look into the bus bays at Wellesley subway station. And a look to the east, and that's towards the Church Wellesley Village. And this would be the main entrance to the subway station. And this would be Yonge Street coming up. So I'll be turning left here, which is south.
Yeah. I saw Canada and US are
And there's a look north up Yonge Street. So I think this one will be about 3.7 kilometers long. I just looked that up on the subway as I was making my way down here. And my phone says it's 29, but it feels a bit cooler than that. And the forecast is calling for thunderstorms later tonight around 11 p.m. So the next major intersection will be Carlton and College, and that's where I'll turn right and head west. And this part of Yonge has a nice wide sidewalk. They have missed a huge opportunity to put some greenery down along this stretch. It's of course just one of a number of new developments along Yonge. This is really turning into quite the high-rise corridor. This is Alexander Street. There is Buddies in Bad Times Theater. And one of the few downtown Wendy's locations. That's a Courtyard Marriott. I think there's actually a redevelopment proposal for this lot. There we go. There are buildings of 75 and 78 stories planned. While I'd consider most of what we lost on Yonge Street to be a bit unfortunate, this is one building that I don't think fronts the street in a particularly great manner. And this was a very large and quite popular second cup. And that is closed down. I'm not sure when exactly that closed. Perhaps they just didn't renew their lease when they found out the building they're in was doomed. And there used to be a Starbucks just up there on the northwest corner of College and Yonge as well. So that's another large cafe lost in this area. There's where it used to be. Yeah, it looks like a cannabis shop is moving into that location. Although where that Hoops Sports Bar and Grill is, it used to be a standalone Hoops. And that closed up when they demolished the condo, so it's good to see that business returning to its former location. And here's Carlton Street on the left, College on the right. And there is College Park, and that opened as an Eaton's department store. And that was there from 1930 to 1977 when Eaton's closed. They did, of course, have their new flagship location just to the south of here. And that would have been at the Eaton Center.
And I think that's maybe the right one she texted me.
So this is west on College Street. I've never been to this place on the right, but they advertise cold beer for $2. And here's a local institution, Fran's Restaurant. And their original location was in Midtown, and that dates back to the 1940s. Well, that has long since closed. But Fran's remains a staple of College Street. They've got another location to the south of here at Shooter and Yonge. Or I guess it's closer to Shooter and Victoria. And they used to have one down on Front Street, but that was a early pandemic victim. There goes a 506 Carlton streetcar. And there's the headquarters for the Toronto Metro Police. And this would be Bay Street coming up. There's a look south down towards the financial district.
Gotta go.
And this building on the left was originally the Victoria Hospital for Sick Children. And that operated between 1892 and 1951. Now it's currently home to the Canadian Blood Services. And the architect who designed this building was the same one who designed that one that's coming up. And this is Elizabeth Street to the south and Dr. Emily Stowe Way to the north of here, which would be that side of the intersection. There is the Toronto Medical Discovery Tower, which is part of Mars. And they're a non-profit corporation. And they provide a service that seeks to combine public and private medical research projects. Don't know if I remember that correctly or not. That used to be the Toronto General Hospital Western Wing. And as I mentioned, it was designed by the same architect who did the Victoria Hospital for Sick Children that we walked by earlier. I've always struggled to explain what exactly they do in this building. Not sure I ever really understood it all that well myself. But if you do know, let me know down in the comments. And there's the future Schwartz-Reisman Innovation Campus at the University of Toronto going up. I guess according to that plaque there, it was called the Toronto General Hospital. And this is University Avenue coming up, so I'm going to turn left here and walk south all the way down to Front Street. And just to the north of here is Queen's Park and the Provincial Legislative Assembly. And this would be Queen's Park Subway Station. And much like College Street here, University does have bike lanes. There's a look up at the Legislative Assembly. So this is really the city's only grand boulevard, so to speak. I think it's one of the widest in a major city in the entire country. I think just Winnipeg has a bigger one. It used to have 3 lanes of traffic on either side, but a couple of years ago, the city reconfigured it and added a bike lane and some street parking, although I think it had street parking before that. And I'm currently walking between 4 major hospitals. On the left we have the Toronto General Hospital and Sick Kids. And on the right is Princess Margaret, as well as Mount Sinai Hospital.
Son cosas que nos quedamos tú y yo.
Than ever before.
And that is part of Toronto General. And over the winter time, these sort of playful elements showed up in the middle of the boulevard. I did a video at night where I walked down between them. And this is where Gerrard Street begins. There's the number of bike shares. And Gerrard Street will take you from here across downtown and into East Chinatown on the east side of the Don River. And you can continue even further east of that, and it'll take you through Little India. And it briefly comes to an end at Coxwell and resumes a few blocks north of Coxwell and Gerrard. That stretch is often referred to as Upper Gerrard. I'd say the additions of bike lanes on University have been rather successful. I've used them myself countless times. There always seems to be a steady flow of cyclists going up and down University. And if you were to go to the website universitypark.evergreen.ca, you would see there's a rather ambitious plan to turn much of University Avenue into a public park. And that would be from Queen's Park, going south all the way down to the lake, although technically University ends at Front Street. I think the plan would continue south down York Street from there. That would include a trail for cyclists. And I think all it would require is turning half of the university into a park, and I think it would be this half, the eastern half. And then you could turn the remaining side into a two-way road. And you gain a very large continuous park space. Of all the sort of pie-in-the-sky plans the city has, such as the now dead-in-the-water rail deck park, this is one that's certainly a lot more feasible. And this is rush hour, and there's hardly a high volume of traffic on University. In fact, despite being a major boulevard, this stretch always seems to be a bit underutilized. And this is Dundas Street coming up. And here's where we will find St. Patrick's subway station. The church it takes its name from is a few blocks to the west of here. And we're going to start to get a pretty good view of the CN Tower. And a view east, and that'll lead you to the Eaton Center and Dundas Square.
Yeah, and I appreciate.
And coming up on the right should be the U.S. consulate. That will be on the west side of the street. We'll get a better look at it in a moment. And that's been there since 1934. I think they're at another location before that, going back to the late 1800s. Of course, the main embassy is in Ottawa. There it is. There's a courthouse. And that is the Toronto courthouse. And I'm not sure if the court operations at Old City Hall have wrapped up yet. But they're currently building a new courthouse to house those. And you could cut through here. That's an area known as the University Avenue Armories. That'll take you to Nathan Phillips Square as well as City Hall. And on the right, we have a building some people have called Art Deco, but it's actually Beaux Arts. That's the old Canada Life building with its weather vane on top. And by some people, I mean probably me at some point. And coming up, the next major street will be Queen Street West. And this is Osgood Station coming up, and that serves Line 1. And there's some talk that they might have to take down part of this fence here to accommodate the new subway station, or rather, the new connected subway station that'll be built. That'll connect Line 1 to the Ontario line. All the renderings show that this fence has been moved. And here we go, Queen and University. There's a look west towards the Queen West neighborhood. There's the Four Seasons Center for the Performing Arts. That's actually built on, I think it's rubber bushings to insulate the building from vibrations from the subway which runs underneath. And this is Richmond Street West. So everything in on the left is part of the financial district, and on the right side here is the entertainment district. And we can see if these people will be able to cross University. This was designed as a two-phase crossing. You can see the countdown timer has already started before those people who left right when it turned green even got to the median. But of course they're continuing anyways. As would I, this guy is going for it with 4 seconds left. There on the right is the Shangri-La. And you'll be able to find a video through that property on this channel. And here's Adelaide Street West. And according to the sign at that cafe, it is 27 degrees Celsius, which is 81 Fahrenheit. That's a few degrees cooler than my phone indicated. And as I cross, I'll swing the camera to the left, and we'll get a look at one of my favorite skyscraper canyons in the city. And here's King Street West, and that'll be St. Andrew subway station. There's St. Andrew Church with Roy Thompson Hall next to it. And I think this is the busiest streetcar corridor in the city along King. And this is Wellington Street West coming up. So we're almost south to Front Street. I'll stop tiptoeing on the curb here. There's Jack Astor's. And this is where University Avenue comes to an end. Kind of merges into York Street. So I think the plans for that park would just carry south of here down York, although I don't know if York could really stand to lose any lanes of traffic. It's always quite busy. Oh, that car had a Nevada license plate. There's a look west along Front Street, and that is Union Station. And there is the Royal York Hotel. And earlier, you'll remember I walked by College Park. And I think that was designed by the same person, or at least the same architectural firm. They also were responsible for Maple Leaf Gardens. This is TD Union Summer. Monday is Blue Mondays, the Toronto Blues Society. TD Music Tuesdays, Legendary Wednesdays, Showcase Thursdays, Best of Union Beats, Saturday Symphonies, and Big Easy Sundays. Oh, sign me up for that one. That's the lunch schedule. There's the evening schedule. Looks like there's some trivia going on tomorrow evening. It's a really neat space. In the wintertime, they transform this area into a skating rink. All right, we have arrived at Union Station. So I hope you enjoyed this one, starting up at Wellesley Station, walking south down Yonge to College, then west over to University, and south down to Front Street. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support the channel, there are links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description. And I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides. And there's also a super thanks button appearing below this video now, as I awkwardly word my way out of this one. All right, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.